Hey guys, it's Meg and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks on colouring with coloured pencils, and let's just get into it. So today I'm going to be colouring in a page from Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. I'll also be using a spare piece of white A4 paper just to put behind the page that I'm colouring on so it doesn't get any indentations on the next page. The colouring pencils I'll be using for this are Faber Castell Black Edition, which are a really affordable set of pencils that I love using. And then I've also got two different sharpeners, a normal one and an electric one, and let's get started. This is the Rooms of Wonder colouring book by Johanna Basford, and there are so many beautiful pages to colour in, but for today I thought I would continue on with a page that I've already started because colouring actually takes a lot longer than you might think. So we're just going to be working on a really tiny section of this page, and I can share some tips and tricks and kind of my method for achieving the style of colouring you can see on the rest of this page. So to start off with, you want to make sure your pencils are nice and sharp, and I'm starting with this brown colour, and I'm just colouring really lightly to plot in where my colours are going to be. So I started with the brown and put that in really lightly around the edges of each of these segments on the spine of the book, and then I'm using orange for the lighter colour on the inside of these segments, which just brings the page to life a little bit. If you look at some of the other books I've coloured on the right hand side, you'll see that they've got a brightness to the centre of them, and I find that just makes it a lot more interesting to look at. It's more fun to do, so I'm kind of trying to achieve a bit of a glow to each of the things I'm colouring at the moment. So once you've lightly put in the colours that you need, you've got a darker one around the edges of each segment and a lighter colour in the centre. You then need to keep going back and forth, changing between your pencils and just lightly layering each colour, getting it darker and darker. With the brown, I'm pressing a lot harder towards the outside because that's where I want the brown to be the darkest, and I'm lightening the brown slightly as it comes into contact with the orange, as that's the place I need to be working on the blending. If you press really hard in the place where you're blending, the brown and the orange aren't gonna layer nicely together, so that's why you work in tiny little increments. Tiny bit of brown, tiny bit of orange, keep going back and forth, and you should end up with something like this. Next, I'm colouring in the tiny little pear on top of the next book, and although this is a really small space, I'm going to be using 4 different colours, so I'll be using a yellow and then 3 shades of green, and as this is a particularly small space, I used my electric sharpener to make sure I've got a really sharp point on each of my pencils, and I'm following all the tips I've just given you, starting off really lightly, plotting in my colours, and then building up layer by layer to slowly darken the colours as I'm blending. I'm also colouring in really tiny little circles. It almost looks like I'm scribbling, as I just find this helps the layers to kind of merge together and help the colours blend nicely. I also find the little circular colouring motion is good when you're blending lots of colours together and helps to hide the colouring lines and the marks you make with the pencil. Then I decided to use brown and green for the leaf just to change up the colours a little bit, and that's the pear all complete. Now moving on to the next book, the one sitting underneath the pear. This is a little bit of a different design. It's got a bit more going on the spine of the book than the previous one we did, but I'm still going to be using very similar technique and kind of style. So again, I'm going in with a darker colour on the outer edge, and I'll be making it lighter as we get towards the centre. For this book, I'm choosing blue as the main colour, and I find that colour choices are equally as important as your colouring method and style, because that's what really gives the piece an overall cohesive look. So if we take a look at the right hand page that's almost entirely coloured in, you can see I've used such a variety of colours, but they all tie in together in some way. There's a good balance of blues and pinks and reds and greens. They're spread around the page in a good way, and for me in this page, blue has become quite a dominant colour. So if I'm not sure of which colour I want to use, I always think, would blue work here? And I think next to the orange, because blue and orange are complementary colours, it was a good choice to pick for this book. So if you're unsure about which colours to pick, look around at the other colours you've used on the rest of the page and go from there. And if you're starting the page and you don't have other colours to look at, grab a handful of pencils, maybe 5 or 6, and colour swatch them together and see how they look next to each other, and this will help give you an idea of how those colours are going to sit next to each other on the page. and that can be a useful starting place. As you can see, I've coloured the outside edge of the book in a darker blue, and now I'm working on those inside segments, the 3 little rectangles. For the little frame of the rectangles, I decided to go with a dark purple and a lighter purple. It was a really small space to colour in, so I don't know how well you can see that it's purple. But because of that, I wanted a colour that was going to blend in quite well with the blue. In case only a little bit of it is visible, hopefully that means it won't look messy or like I've made a mistake. And I decided to use a nice pink colour for what looked like jewels on the book, and then lighter blue for the inside of the rectangles. Again, thinking of that glow and a contrast between light and dark, which I feel just really adds to the overall magical, whimsical nature of this colouring book. Now onto our final book and my final little tip about colour choices. So for this book I decided to go with a red, and that's because I think it's really important to balance the colours across the page. So with red in mind, you can see that I've got red down in the bottom left hand corner on the bottle. I've got it in the top left hand corner with the mushrooms. I've got it halfway across the top right hand side with the apples, and then sprinkled across the rest of that page, reddy pinks in various places. So in order to balance that red, I decided that I needed some more red on this left hand bottom side of the page, which is the best way to introduce a new colour if you want to, because in order to introduce a colour into a colour palette, it ultimately needs to be integrated properly so it doesn't stick out. This page wouldn't work anywhere near as well as it does if, for example, I only used red on this one book and there was no red anywhere else. Balancing the colours comes quite naturally to me, and I think it certainly comes more so with practice, but I do find this is a tip that I often share because I feel it makes a really big difference to the overall colouring page that you're doing. So I thought it was worth sharing again. And the final thing I wanted to remind you is to work in sections. So as you can see with all of the books I've worked on today, I haven't been colouring across the lines that separate the sections. I've been working in each section individually. Even if I'm applying the colour in section 1, 2 and 3 and then going back with the lighter colour in 1, 2 and 3, you don't have to do a whole section and finish it and then move on, but just don't be tempted to be colouring across the sections because it's easy to lose your way, and in order to make sure each section looks identical to the next, I find being a bit more disciplined, sticking with the sections separately, just means you're more focused and you don't fall into bad habits or get lazy with your layering and your blending, especially after all the time and effort you've put into your colouring so far. So the working in sections tip not only applies to the colouring, but it also applies to the time you spend colouring. Work in shorter bursts so you can stay focused and get the outcome you want whilst it's still enjoyable. And that is this little section all complete. So that's it for my little colouring tutorial video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if these tips have helped you. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I next upload. And I'll see you in the next one.